So now we're going to do some range of movement. So what we're attempting to do is stop this shoulder from freezing right up. And I find that it even helps just to push his shoulder back straight. So I've got some pressure on the back of the shoulder to give him support, and then just pressing on the shoulder so that it's back in the normal position, because his shoulders tend to roll forward. Now the first range of movement I'm going to do is just to lift the arm up and down, and what I do is I take hold of his hand and then I keep one arm under his elbow for support. And I try to start it off gradually. Don't try and do a full lift up high in the air at the beginning. One of the things Chris has trouble with in eating is getting his fork or his spoon to his mouth. So I tend to do a lot of this particular exercise where I bring his arm across to his shoulder, back down. I usually do 3 to 5 repetitions of each one. Now we're going to go up to the nose. So you can see that we're doing the same movement, but now taking him up a bit higher. And then I'm going to go up on top of his head, and Chris has got to try not to bring his head down to meet his hand so that we can get some movement. Now I'm going to try and raise his arm up in the air. So again, I've got support on his elbow. I'm holding onto his hand and I'm going to bring him up. And this is where you go slow and watch your person's face. Chris lets me know when it's too far, but I can also feel when there's some resistance from those tight muscles. And I try to get a little bit higher, but never push past that feeling of tightness, because that's when you can hurt muscles. Now we're going to go out to the side. So you can see that he's got a limited range of movement, but this arm is actually his good arm. Now I do going back. The next one that I'm going to do is to do arm twisting this way. So again, I hold his elbow, hold his hand, twist his hand over, back. You can see the fasciculations happening down through his arms. They weren't that bad when we started, but like I said, I don't let that bother me anymore. Now we're going to do some elbow closing. Bringing his hand up to his shoulder and down as straight as you can. Now I like to repeat those ones coming across his body. He never likes me having him touch his nose. I'm sure it feels very strange to have somebody take your hand up and touch your nose. And don't be afraid to just stop and get in position properly first. It's better than rushing into something. Is that about the limit? Bit higher? We've got that up quite high this time compared to how it was when we first started. And that's the aim of it, is to just keep a bit of stretch happening and increase the amount of movement that they can do. On top of the head one's quite important because he needs to be able to do his hair and wash his hair. So we want to be able to keep that movement happening. He wants me to go higher. And that's where it's really good if the person you're doing this with can give you a lot of feedback, because I know that I get a little bit scared about pushing too much, and so if he can tell me no, that's enough, or no, try a bit more, then I feel a lot more confident. And I like to just finish it by giving those little tight knotty muscles he has in here another little gentle rub over to make sure that they're sort of feeling quite relaxed at the end of it.